What is the new set called?
Neon Kamigawa? Kamigawa Neon Destiny. Dynasty. Oh man, I'm gonna call it Neon Destiny at some point.
All right, well, we've already seen Kaito Shizuki and Satoru Umezawa from the new Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Magic the Gathering set. This implies that we're going to see more ninjutsu moving forward, and today we're talking about some fun ninja cards and also just some cards that came out from the Kamigawa block.
With Neon Dynasty on the horizon, we are going to go through some cards that you should hard avoid, not even consider buying right now, and some cards that you should maybe consider picking up before the set even comes out. The video starts right now.
Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat. Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. Neon Dynasty is almost upon us, and while we are sitting here in one of the very few lulls that we ever get in MTG product release schedule, we've got some speculation of some cards that are at an all-time high, just like ridiculous prices right now, and you shouldn't buy them before the set comes out, and a couple that maybe you should think about picking up a couple copies of in case they don't get reprinted that possibly could shoot up. But before we do get into it, if you would, think about hitting that like button if you like the video. By the end of it, hit that dislike button if you don't.
That's a great way to support the channel, and you can head on over to Patreon. The link is in the description of the video. But you know what? We have a bunch of cards to talk about today. Also, shout out to Dragon Shield, our wonderful sponsor. Let's get into the cards.
So we are starting off with Jake, probably the one that is on the top of everyone's mind. A card that I would not touch with a 10-foot pole right now if I wanted to get a copy of it.
Don't buy.
And that is Sakashima's Student. 4 mana for a 0/0. It's got ninjutsu of 2, which means any unblocked attacker you have, you can return to the hand once blockers have been declared or not declared, which is what you're hoping for. And then you put this card onto the battlefield tapped and attacking instead of that card. And then this one is a clone. It enters the battlefield as a copy of any creature except it's a ninja in addition to its other types. Jake, this one's up into the $80 range. I think everybody started buying this one like crazy when Neon Dynasty was announced.
Yeah, also, I mean, it's a clone that's tapped and attacking, right? I mean, it's the only clone that's going to do that. It's a pretty spicy clone. Let's just say that. Yeah, but it's a classic scarcity case. You know, we have 2 printings on this card. It is the kind of card where, you know, obviously there's going to be some sort of acknowledgement of its secondary market price. So I would say maybe a collector booster it could pop up in as a some kind of reprint. Maybe they do reprint it in, you know, a set booster kind of like list slot where it's probably not going to get that much of a correction on its price. This is definitely a card that's interesting. It's definitely a powerful card. And it's definitely a card that needs a reprint.
I could see this one possibly being in a standard environment, but I think it's more likely, like you said, that it doesn't get reprinted in the main set, but gets reprinted in an ancillary product.
There's always this, like with collector boosters, right? They're always experimenting, like, oh, what kind of new showcase thing can we do? Mystical Archive was a very good example of having cards that exist in a booster pack for a set, but they don't exist in the standard environment, right? Like you get to draft those cards and it's really fun when you're drafting them, but they don't exist in standard. So like it's one of those cards where sure, it might not be in the standard set, but anybody opening it isn't going to be upset that they're opening it, you know?
For sure. I think the same could be said of Ink Eyes here.
Yes. Now this card has 4 printings, $23 card, and then $32 for the Secret Layer version that came out. We have a lot of different versions here of this card. You know, I really like the Secret Layer version of it from Secret Layer Year of the Rat.
Yeah, we had this promo version when it first got printed too.
Very strong card, and you know, one thing on this card that just tells me it would never get a reprint into a standard set is the fact that it has Regenerate. Regenerate is one of these kind of like abilities that is just really annoying to deal with.
Dead keyword.
Something that they've, it's an annoying, right, exactly. People don't want to deal with it anymore, that keyword.
Yeah, absolutely. Ink Eyes, lots of options on this one right now. I do think that there's going to be a little bit of a hype price on this card right now, a little premium you're going to pay as we go into a Ninja set, but this is one that would be very good in a Ninja Commander deck, and we're probably going to get one of those with this set coming out. And so, you know, when do you purchase Ink Eyes? I don't know exactly, but I don't think the answer is right now. I think you want to wait for some of that hype to die down. Maybe you see it in a different set, one of those ancillary products like we were talking about. Higura is one, Jake, that was in Betrayers of Kamigawa. It, like Sakashima's Student, like Ink Eyes, and like some other cards you'll see on this list, were also printed in the Plane Chase 2012 set and Plane Chase Anthology. So those are the 3 copies that we've got of Higura the Still Wind, excuse me. Plane Chase, $18, all the way up to the Betrayers version you're looking at here, about $24. It's a good ninjutsu commander.
It has
ninja.
Everything built into it.
Exactly. I mean,
it has
search
a tutor,
unblockable.
It has unblockable. Yeah, man. It has anything and everything that you could ever want in a card, and the price reflects it at $18 to $24 for this card.
This is one that I could see in a standard set. 5 mana, paying an additional 2 to make a ninja unblockable. Very good in commander. Kind of slow for a 7 mana investment in standard. And so I think that this is one that the reprint possibility here, again, is the commander set that comes out, commander decks that come out alongside the set, or potentially a secret layer. Jake, the ninja commander, Yuriko. We got CDH decks. We got regular commander decks, all built around this commander. What do you think about the reprint possibility here?
I mean, it has multiple printings. You know, this card is, depending on the printing, between like 18 to like 35 to 40-ish dollars. This is a fantastic card. Like you said, it is the Ninja Commander. I could see them printing it again. It's one of those cards where the price is low enough that it's one of these cards that you never hate opening it. It's still very cool to open. And you can just keep the price low. I would put it in a collector booster. That's probably where I see it getting a printing. Maybe it gets new art, something like that. Maybe a lot of the cards we're talking about today do get new art and then just end up in a collector booster. The ones that aren't fit for standard, the ones that are too powerful for standard. We're even going to talk about some cards that are modern legal as well.
Legends of Kamigawa as an inclusion in collector boosters. Yeah, I could see something like that.
Exactly. I mean, it's a legendary creature heavy set. You know, there's a lot of legends in this, and so I think that this card could show up in like a collector booster. Yeah. Maybe it even shows up in like a set booster. You know, who knows how they're going to do set boosters? We're going to see more in the future, so make sure you stick around and look out for the streams, because we're going to be covering this content as it comes out.
That could be a possibility. We know it won't be in standard because it says commander on it, and you know, an ancillary product would be the best home for it. I really think that we may see that card. Jake, those are the expensive ones. We're going to get back to some expensive ones here at the end of the video. We got to end with some of those money cards. But I want to just take a little exit off the highway for a second to look at some cards that are between that $2 and $5 range. Everything that we've showed you up to this point, you probably really want to think hard and long before you purchase right now. You're going to be buying into the FOMO price. You're going to be buying into the speculation price. But with these cards, these $2 to $5 cards, if you don't see reprints on them, these are cards that you could pick up. 2 copies, have one for yourself, use the other one. If it goes up in price, sell that, maybe recoup the cost of both of the cards. I want to start with this uncommon, Walker of Secret Ways. It's an uncommon from Betrayers. It was also in Plane Chase and Plane Chase Anthology. It's between $4 and $5 as an uncommon, and it's because of that bottom ability. Return target ninja you control to its owner's hand. You can only do this during your turn, even though it can be instant speed. It's only on your turn. But this is an ability you want in a Ninja Commander deck. If this card isn't printed, this card will go up in price because people will want it for their commander decks. However, deals combat damage to a player. Look at that player's hand in Jutsu of 2. It's a 1/2 for 3. I could see this being in the set. This could be in the standard set itself as a reprint.
I have to agree with you. I mean, the ability I like the most on the card is on the bottom. You know, the fact that it can protect your own stuff during your attack step is very strong, and it's definitely nothing to shake a stick at, as we like to say sometimes. So yeah, I do think that the card could get a reprint. It's only had 2 printings, or no, actually
3 versions.
What is this? 3 versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and very expensive because
as an uncommon. Yeah, for sure. Well, you said Modern Magic, Jake. Speaking of Modern Magic, it's Ingenious Infiltrator.
Yeah, $1 to $2 card here, 2 printings. It had its original Modern Horizons printing, and then it also got this retro foil printing that came out in Modern Horizons 2. But this is a card that if there were a modern deck for ninjas, and here's the thing is we were looking before the video, and ninjas don't have a good 1-drop. They actually don't have a 1-drop. And so that's what the tribe needs more than anything. In Modern, you need to have a good turn 1 play. I mean, you have stuff like Thoughtseize and Inquisition of Kozilek that you could use that are in the colors. Whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So on a nice wide attack step, being able to ninjutsu this in and just draw cards, fill your hand back up, that's very strong. And blue-black can do that. It would just, we need some more support for the tribe. But this card has a lot of upside. Again, only a $1 to $2 card. Not a lot of risk there. For example, I don't see it going much lower.
That's where I'm at with the play on this one. This is one where if you believe that we won't see it reprinted, those time-shifted foils are going to go up from $1. And so, you know, if those cards start getting into $2, $3, $4 range, it's small potatoes you're dealing with, but you're still dealing with 200, 300% increases in price.
And it's a Vidalcan.
Right. Depending on how much you want to, how many Ingenious Infiltrators you want to go in on, potentially high reward there. Nothing on this channel is financial advice. Jake, we got one more low-cost card before we get into our final 3 cards that are all crazy expensive for what they are. But I wanted to talk about Smoke Shroud. This is a common from Modern Horizons 1. That's the only time it's ever been printed. It's a 2-mana enchantment aura. It gives the enchanted creature +1/+1 and has flying. That bottom ability, though, when a ninja enters a battlefield under your control, you may return Smoke Shroud from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to that creature for free. That's it. You just get it back. +1/+1 and flying on any ninja that ETBs while Smoke Shroud's in the graveyard. I think, obviously, this is a common. This is like a 10-cent card. You can pick up a bunch of these for real cheap. But I would be looking at foils of this card because this is a card that if it somehow dodges a print in the Neon Dynasty main set, the Neon Dynasty Commander Auxiliaries, and the any kind of secret layer ancillary set booster, you know, the other kind of stuff we were talking about. This is a foil that people will probably want for their Commander deck.
Yeah, and outside of Commander, I actually think that this card has legs as well. It could make its way into a Modern deck. We see a lot of ways where you can pitch cards, stuff like with Phoenix, for example. You're constantly throwing cards to the graveyard. Pitch this card to draw cards. Eventually, you're going to play some sort of ninja, get it back, like Joel was talking about. We do see that this was printed into a Modern Horizons set only once, which means that the thought was that this card is probably going to be too powerful for Standard, right? People are going to try to figure out a way to break this card. The reason that they create those Modern ancillary sets is because they believe those cards are probably going to be more powerful. They need to go into Modern immediately. So this card is going to need more ninja support, but I do believe that there's something here as well. Anything that's free, being able to just pitch these to the graveyard, draw cards off of something like Thrill of Possibility, Cathartic Reunion, something like that. And then also, you know, you have to think ninjas are typically blue-black. Is Kamigawa Neon Dynasty going to give us ninjas in different colors?
Possibly.
Are we going to be able to?
You can also look at the Planeswalker that we've already seen from the new set. The +1 ability on that Walker is draw a card, discard a card. So that seems like a really good target for Smoke Shroud. I know mostly we talk about Commander Finance on the channel, but Smoke Shroud kind of hit this strange delta as a common card that'll have foil versions that'll be the desirable pieces of, like, maybe this could actually see some play in Modern, depending on every other thing kind of coming together. Good 1-drop ninja that sets the tone for the deck out of the gate in Modern. You know, the Planeswalker even being playable. Some other effect that's draw a card, discard a card kind of things, looting stuff. You know, where does that all meet? Potentially a good Modern deck. You may want to look at Smoke Shroud. Maybe it has a little reprint possibility in there anyway, but these are foils that I'd be looking at right now as potential growth, depending on all of those factors that we said going exactly right in the favor of those. Jake, let's talk about some expensive cards. How about that? We've got our legendary lands from Champions of Kamigawa. We got Minamo at Water's Edge, $16 for the Mystery Booster retail version, and $20 for the Champions of Kamigawa version. Jake, I'm just going to kind of run through all three of these, and we'll talk about them as a bunch because they're all basically the same thought process for where you'll see them. Shizo, $29 for Mystery Booster, $34 for Champions of Kamigawa, and then Aboro, Palace in the Clouds, one printing, Saviors of Kamigawa only. And Jake, this card's up to $85.
Yeah, and clearly we're not talking about any of the OG foil multipliers for these cards, which are just absolutely insane. We're talking about the baseline version of these cards. But these lands, more than anything, I don't think we're going to see any of them in the standard set. I think that that's just like too much value. If they do put them in standard, that would be absolutely nuts, and that would be amazing. I do think that hopefully we get a more meaningful reprint of these cards, which would be outside of that list slot, right? We would want to see these cards hopefully pop up in a collector booster. I would be fine seeing them in there. I think that that's a very tasteful way to do it. That's a way to get people absolutely salivating over your collector booster.
Upshift them to Mythic, dump them in the collector product.
Sure,
done.
one to three of them per box. You know,
Right.
if you get an absolutely lit box, you're going to get three of them. Or do they do some sort of like they did with Zendikar and have box topper? I think they mentioned that they are doing box toppers. We would need to check in on that.
Right.
Really do need to check, and if you do know, let us know in the comments if they're doing box stoppers. But this is a good way to include these cards, reprint them in a meaningful way, not have to worry about putting them in standard, bring the price down on these a little bit.
Yes.
Aboro is a card that I've wanted forever for mill, but I just don't want to splurge for. I only need one copy in the deck.
Right.
I just don't want to. I don't want to splurge for it. I don't want to pay the $80 price tag on this card. I would rather just wait for the reprint to come. That is going to be inevitable. That should be in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. I imagine they're thinking, what cards can we from the past pull from and put into this set? And then on top of that, where can we put them? We have three separate products. We have our draft product, we have our set booster product, and we have our collector booster product. Where are they going to go?
Secret Lair, I think, is also an option here. Obviously, these are all too expensive to be in the same Secret Lair together. They are very tightly knit to the secondary market prices of these cards for the pricings of these Secret Lairs. But I look back just a year at how they did the Theros God packs, split these up among a few different Secret Lairs, toss in some flavorful inclusions from the original, Champions, Betrayers, and Saviors sets, and make them themed Secret Lair, with the headliner obviously being Aboro at $85. Sell that one for $40. It's a no-brainer, no pass up. It's like the Praetors. All of the people who care about the value from the Secret Lairs go, well, I guess I'm buying the Praetor pack just because the value is so dope. This could be the one in this group of Secret Lairs that are like that.
Yeah, I think so. And that is the first time that they've really deviated and been like, we're just going to go way over with value, nuke the price on these cards, which absolutely happened. And it's fine. Those cards are now more accessible. You can't read any of them, but, it is what it is. It was a very cool Secret Lair. It still is a very cool Secret Lair. And, when you're able to make those cards accessible all in one nice, neat little package, I'm sure that that makes the Hasbro money bags go burr too, so that's good.
Everybody, we're happy to be back at it in 2022. Make sure, if you like our stuff, you are subscribed. We've got a hell of a year ahead of us, and we can't wait to show you some of the stuff we're coming up with.
That's right. And until next time, we will see you later, Warehouse.